Obviously we've been talking a lot the last couple of days about everything going on over at DC. We've got James Gunn writing a new Superman movie. Henry Cavill has officially transitioned out. The exciting news that Ben Affleck is going to be directing a DC movie, although we do not know what it is yet. Rob, you seem to think it's Batman. I think there are several people who think it might be a Batman film. But it did bring up the question. We heard James Gunn say previously that Superman is going to be, if not one of the most major, then maybe the most central figure of the upcoming DC universe. To which somebody then jumped on Twitter, and we can bring up my screen here if you'd like, Jonathan. Somebody jumped on Twitter and decided to ask James Gunn, well, what about Batman? Is Batman going to be a big part of the DCU going forward? Or, as many people have wondered, are they just going to keep him in Matt Reeves' universe? Because there has been some theories going around that Batman has been so successful. Some people thought they were going to bring Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU, and James Gunn killed that rumor, which I'm glad. That Batman is awesome, but it does not belong in the DCU. But some people have wondered then after that, well, maybe they'll just keep the Robert Pattinson Batman over there, and that'll be it. We won't have a Batman here. So somebody just straight up asked James Gunn, is Batman going to be a big part? And James Gunn followed out, he is a big part of the DCU. And I'll tell you what, while I didn't really have any doubt that Batman was going to be a central figure in the DCU moving forward, the questions that have been going around are legitimate. Like with the huge success that the Batman was, Matt Reeves' Batman, maybe you just keep your focus there. Let's not pretend like maybe the Batman character itself, there's been some criticism that maybe the Batman character itself has been a little oversaturated. Maybe used a little bit too much, some people feel. But I was very happy to read this, no. Because look, as far as I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist when it comes to the DCU and DC, I think your heart and soul and the core of that universe must be the Trinity. It's got to be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman to me. Now, of course, there's lots of room for lots of other characters to play big, important parts. But to me, those are the pillars that hold up Olympus. Those are the pillars. You build your story around those three. And to already understanding that he said Superman is one of, if not the foundational piece, to hear him say that absolute Batman is a big part of all this. Now I'm just waiting to hear him confirm that Wonder Woman is as well, because I think you got to have that as a part of the Trinity. But, with all the upheaval and stuff like that, and my heart breaking over my boy, Blue, Henry, no longer being our Superman, I got to tell you, Rob, everything I've heard from James Gunn has been like, if we were all to create a fantasy scenario, the perfect way to go into DC in the future and to set up DCU in the future and the new DC. So far, he's saying everything I want to hear. Saying it's easy, executing it is hard. Let's see if he's actually able to pull it off. I trust him, but pulling it off is a different thing altogether. But I, at least in theory, love hearing what he's saying. You heard him talk about the Batman stuff. What did you think about it?
Well, like you, I think the Trinity is the core of the DC universe. What I'm more interested in is I really think that they're building a 10-year overarching storyline that is going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it's also going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end for all the characters in themselves. There's going to be arcs for Superman, not just in each individual movie, but in an overall arc. I think that's going to be true of all the characters because they, for the very first time, can design all of this from the ground up. Now, it's going to require that these movies are actually good, but I would love to see them put some things in to play like Batman's Justice League Protocols, where he had contingency plans
for
to take
all
down
the Justice League
yeah,
movies.
and he had to, and that's something that would get revealed because what that does is it creates a very legitimate conflict for Batman against all the other heroes, and then they have to reluctantly agree, and then Superman asking, I think you brought it up, Batman.
Yeah, what's your contingency plan for yourself? You are.
Yeah.
That's one of the great lines.
Yeah,
that's truly great line.
Yeah, and that's one of the great, and to have all that, and to know that James Gunn is so steeped in the DC lore, they don't have to adapt things directly, but to use them as signposts, because the great comic book stories have already been laid out. So avail yourself of those, and I think that we're going to see that with all the characters, and that's what I'm most excited about, is to see someone like a James Gunn working with a Peter Safran and with all the filmmakers that they're bringing in, why do you think they're talking to Ben Affleck? They're bringing him in going, look, I read your Batman Terminator script. It's great. And what would you do? This is the thing. They're because they have access to filmmakers. It's not a studio executive that's wondering who they should hire. It's filmmakers that already know who they want to hire, and they go in and say, here's what we're thinking. How can you fit into that? Because we want to work with you. So what they're doing is what they're doing? It's like putting together a great sports team.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're drafting players, and they're getting ready to hit the field. This is their team building, and they're going to build a team from scratch that is designed to be the greatest team ever put together to make a universe. That are going to concentrate on characters and story first, that is going to be for the greater good of this universe, and every piece is important.
Chris, you hear about this. I mean, there's with so much going on in DC and so much more to come. James Gunn already teased that we're going to find out a lot more and once the new year hits. What did your take away from this?
I mean, I feel like this is all stuff that we should have known was coming.
Right, yeah.
This is who you have at the center of your Justice League, right? Is these guys. Because while we are going to have all those fun tertiary characters come into play, I can't wait. James Gunn is going to give me Etrigan. I know he is. I know I'm going to get all the things I want eventually from him.
And then we can all rhyme.
Yes, it's going to be great. Oh, I'm going to love it. But, for right now, we have to start off with getting that core team in place and looking to those awesome stories like Tower of Babel, right? Using those kind of Mark Waid things to really build up a cool storyline over the next decade. I think they're going to follow the Marvel plan because we've seen how that works really, really well. But we're going to have a James Gunnian twist on things. So hopefully things get weird and wacky along the way, too.
I hadn't thought about it, but I love you brought up that whole storyline with the Batman. Who was the guy who discovered? Was it Vandal Savage? Was he the one that discovered Batman's plans and started to use them?
In the Doom animation adaptation, yes. But in the comic, is it Raj?
Maybe.
Was it Raj
because then there was the Identity Crisis storyline as well that I loved, where I think that's the first time it's revealed.
In the video game, it's in this video game, it's the Doctor.
The Scarecrow?
With the beard.
Strange. Not Doctor Strange.
Hugo.
Hugo Strange.
Yeah.
It's Hugo Strange in the video game.
Okay.
But that's something you have to build up to. But that storyline,
it's so
would be
cool.
amazing.
And and then when Batman puts into place all the OMAC stuff and the contingency, I loved all that. It was great.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? There had been some questions and some wondering about are we going to have just the Matt Reeves? Are we going to have James Gunn seems to put that to rest. The Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson one going to continue with its success, but we're going to get a new Batman, and it will be a central figure in here. Shouldn't be a surprise to us, but hey, the questions have been lingering. What do you think about this? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. It is the most festive time of the year, and HelloFresh is here to help make the most of every moment. From holiday hosting to dinners during busy weeknights, you can count on HelloFresh to deliver fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes. Because 'tis the season for saving money wherever we can. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery store shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout. You can use those savings for holiday gifts or treat yourself. Guys, I've told you before that with Ann and I both being working professionals, finding time to prepare dinner together can be a chore, but HelloFresh has made it easy and fun for us to make our own meals, and most importantly to me, they're delicious. You will actually enjoy making dinner. So right now, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea18 and use the code Campea18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. Once again, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea18 and use the code Campea18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping.